Mr. IllGIll here. He's going to speak to you before we play.
Thanks, guys. I'd really like to thank everyone here. I have a prepared speech, and unfortunately, of course, my camera isn't bringing this speech. But again, I'd like to thank everyone here, The Smell, of course, Batwings, Catwings, Peter Pans, and the Hips for supporting Standing Rock, because before this year, you really wouldn't have seen very many people supporting the Native American protests like this, and it really is a momentous year. And we're almost to the speech. We're almost there. Who else can we thank? We can thank Clary Cakes. We can again thank Jim for The Smell, and everyone here as support of Standing Rock. Again, I thought I was ready. Here we are. So that takes me to the first. You know, it's actually not very easy for me as a Native American to talk about the issues because they are pretty bad usually. And I again like to thank everyone for letting me come out here and talk about it and get some of the things off my chest. So let's get into it. So in 2014, Energy Trade Partners, aka the ETP, proposed a $3.8 billion pipeline to transport fracked oil from the back-end oil fields in North Dakota to previously owned pipelines in Indiana. The original proposal was rejected because it ran north of Bismarck, and the people there didn't want their water to be contaminated by the oil. So they just moved it south to under Bismarck and through federal treaty lands and Lake Oahe. They were going to drill through that, and that is the fourth largest reservoir in the United States and a main source for water for the Standing Rock Sioux. It also supports millions of people in the Midwest who would be affected, more than the 60,000 people in the Bismarck. The words meaning in Wakone mean water is life, and that water should be protected against threats like the insatiable greed of these big oil companies. The leaders of this protest have not endured the brunt of the modern police state for money. They do it so their grandchildren can drink water. They do it because they don't want to be poisoned for profit. The Standing Rock Camp is the largest Native protest in modern times. Thanks to Dave Archibald, LaDonna Allard, Chase Iron Eyes, and other Native leaders, over 500 tribes from around the world and the United States have come against the Dakota Access Pipeline. They blocked roads and changed themselves to equipment because they knew there was no other way to get their voices heard. Over and over again, Energy Trade Partners have ignored EPA guidelines and failed to respect treaties with the Lakota to consult the tribe. Even when Obama asked ETP to stop construction, they continued because they knew the oil fields in Bakken were underperforming and that pipeline was no longer necessary. Their commitment to use of force to get that big daddy dollar has caused an investigation by the ACLU and the United States Human Rights Council. Because we've seen it, you've seen it, I've seen it. The Facebook videos of industrial sites, tear gas canisters, Snapchats of giant pepper spray, cartoon-sized lumps of flesh swollen from the impact of rubber bullets. This is what happens if you stand in the way of $3.8 billion. They lie about you to the media. They send Blackwater mercenaries to beat you down. They send drone scramblers to hack your iPhone so we can't record them. They stick dogs on you and then put you in the dog kennels when they arrest you. They recruited police forces from around the country, spent $1 million of taxpayer money to squash this protest, and you know what? It wasn't enough. The lies and abuse were not enough to stop the truth. The peaceful prayers of the Standing Rock protectors proved stronger than the Humvees in combat uniforms. There has been an outpouring of support from people just like you guys from around the country and around the world that understand that these issues faced by the Lakota are important for everybody. It isn't foreign nationals that we're tear gassing here. It's Native Americans were granted citizenship in 1924. We're officially Native American citizens. So every hour that they endured under water cannons and sub-degree weather was an hour fighting for your rights and the rights of everyone in the United States. The truth is that Native Americans are in a special place to defend the environment, and it's part of the culture to do so. Thankfully, before any life the U.S. Army has denied the easement, before the loss of any life, the U.S. Army has denied the easement for the land necessary to complete the pipeline and drill under the lake. They agreed with the Standing Rock chairman that the environmental impact had not been properly assessed and suggest rerouting the pipeline. However, the battle is not over. ETP has publicly stated that they stay committed to the original route. Standing Rock still needs your support to maintain the camp through the frigid sub-degree weather of winter in North Dakota, and they need your help fighting the court system that has routinely ruled against Native interests. It is important to keep pressure on these officials responsible for upholding our environmental rights. We must also hold ETP accountable for the excessive force used against peaceful protesters. We also know that we must let them know that it is not acceptable to treat United States citizens in that way.
That's
The
right.
greed and desperation of Kelsey Warren, CEO of the ETP, has spread a cloud of lies and deceit, attempting to vilify the protests in the eyes of the American people. He says our claims of desecrated barrier sites are lies, and then he bulldozes them. He uses mercenary forces and terrorist tactics to impede our First Amendment rights. He has no respect for the traditions or rights of the Native people, even though he holds a Cherokee music festival on his ranch in Texas every year. How many elderly women must he mace before he understands that there are more important things than money? I doubt that he will ever understand until he's told by a judge in a court of law. The Standing Rock Lakota were able to say something this year. They said what CNN and NBC and all the major news networks wouldn't even dream of saying. They said that big oil and big government is not infallible, their word can be contested, and we have every right to say no. It is our duty to speak up when our rights are being infringed upon, because there are those out there that wish that you weren't free, and you must find ways of overcoming those people. I believe in America. Yeah, that's right. I believe in America. I believe in this country. I believe in freedom. I believe that what happened this year is an important lesson for peaceful resistance. I hope that everyone that finds themselves at odds with the coming government in the next year or 4 years or 8 years will find guidance from the people of Lakota and what we did there. I know that the coming struggle with this man whose greed is only outmatched by his incompetence is going to be far from easy. And remember that this protest is one of peace and of prayer, and that those two things are stronger than any gun or any law. And the war being fought now is not on a battlefield, but within our hearts as people and within the hearts of our neighbors. Thank you so much.
Thank you, IllGIll, everybody. Thank you. And now